Powered by Riverside International.
Heads up, audio adventurers!
Welcome to Human Bubble Podcast, where Plato shares snacks with the weekend and Schopenhauer gets lost in a Spotify playlist. In our freaky studio where cats knocking things over.
We explore the chaos of being human through art, books, music, and philosophy, like a brainy fever dream with good lightnings. Strap in, it's weird, it's wise, and it's probably cheaper than therapy.
Hey Nessie, how's it going today?
Excited for today's episode, It's going to be a deep dive.
Absolutely. The story has so many layers and I can't wait to unveil them with you.
Yes, same here. Let's get into it.
I believe, today we're diving into the quite haunting world of Haruki Murakami with this short story where I'm likely to find it.
Yes, and we'll follow the trail of the story's mysterious disappearance. Not just of a man, but perhaps of something deeper.
Mm-hmm.
What really happened to the main character?
Yeah.
Did he vanish, or did something else shift in reality? Let's check it.
Exactly. That's something, that's something that piqued my interest. And there is this mirror that is just a reflection, or it is just a bottle, a symbol of warning. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll ask also what does it mean to disappear in Murakami's work?
Mm-hmm.
And can people vanish from their lives without even leaving a trace? That's what
exactly.
is our concern.
Mm-hmm.
And is it possible that this searcher ever really separates from what they are searching for, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Well, so our listeners, stay with us. This one's gonna be a rabbit hole. Let's go with it.
Let's go. And Darkster, I think, because I have our points here, to not get lost somewhere in our discussion. So, what about the author?
Yeah, I believe we should start with the author because for our listeners, they should at least know something about the background of author.
Mm-hmm.
So, Haruki Murakami, he was born in Kyoto, 1949, and he was raised in Kobe. So there's one thing people should know. Murakami is one of the most internationally acclaimed author. He's so famous. Despite his global fame, he remains notably private. It's like in his traits. Like some artists or some who are famous to have their own way of speaking. They don't go in public that much. They focus on their work, right, Nessie?
Yes, sorry, and it's really difficult to find some materials about Haruki Murakami. That's what we face it, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And because we try to find some interviews, some materials, but there weren't materials about him, and we try to just keep looking into his books.
Exactly.
So what do we know? Do we know some things more?
Yeah, there's just one thing I want to mention, one of few things like Murakami's there's one thing. It's like his debut novel, Hear the Wind Sing, which won the Gunzo Prize in the New Writers 1979. Like he was like on the way right to his track.
Exactly. And he's a modern author, so it's something what is unusual. Like, we used to talk about authors who died a long time ago, and he still is, he's modern author.
He's modern, yeah. That's correct.
I'm sorry, I sip my water. Okay.
Yeah, you should.
And we can say like his how to describe this his writing. So first of all, we can call him highly esteemed author, right?
Mm-hmm. I have something
And
I want to share with you, my thought, if you
mhm,
allow me.
of course.
Like, I see a pattern. Like, did you notice, like, every great artist, every great musician, they never intend to go with the same thing that they're famous in. They start with something else. Do
Hmm.
you remember yesterday we were talking about this famous singer who as like his album is Weekend, right? And he never intended to
Yeah.
go in singing. He wanted to go in movies, but somehow he found himself in singing. Same as Haruki Murakami was studying drama at Waseda University and ran a jazz bar, you see? So it was nowhere near
Wow.
to writing, being an author. A
Jazz
famous.
bar. That's okay. That's the solution for everything because in his books, jazz cats they appear so often,
Hmm. That's why it
like
appears because, yeah.
motifs, right?
Yeah. So, Leslie, I would like you to tell me the overview of our story.
Yeah. Just for a second, because we should present maybe this title we want to talk about because we don't want to talk about all books, right?
Yeah.
About everything.
It,
Only
it,
we just picked some stories. So I want to talk about his short story, where
mm-hmm,
I'm likely to find it. And it is from the book Blind Willow Sleeping Woman.
mm-hmm.
So, like much of Murakami's work, this story unfolds in a space that's
Wow.
the start of realism
Mm,
and part of dreamscape,
really?
like an ambiguous world
Wow.
where meaning floats just below the surface. That's what is something very characteristic for this author.
Damn.
And one reviewer once called it literature's answer to David Lynch.
Really?
And honestly, yeah, that feels both. I feel it. Like it's if you watch some movie or series of David Lynch, there is always some mystery and there is something like that. So even if the
Mm-hmm.
story is, let's say, cliche, or the plot is not so sophisticated,
Yeah.
but inside and between those characters there is enormous tension, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't know exactly that it's only about some missing, about some troubles. No, it's not that situation. Like you can assume it's very simple plot, but there is something hidden between words, between lines.
Between the
You
lines,
can
yes.
find something more, and what you find is only yours, that you will stay
Yeah.
with.
Because, like, everybody has their own way to perceive things differently. Like, people can see on the in the sky, in the clouds, and they can make the different faces by their projection in the mind, right? That's how you perceive.
Mm-hmm.
So you're reading, you perceive something, right? So, for one thing, there's like I would like to tell to our listeners, like we're not gonna talk about the whole story. We're gonna talk in brief, and because we don't want to spoil your fun, right? Right, Nessie?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we don't want to. So maybe I will start with this quick overview.
Yeah, please go
Uh,
ahead. That's what I
First of
want.
all, plot. First of all, plot, because we have something more than plot. Plot is just a plot.
Mm-hmm.
So a woman hires a private investigator
Mm-hmm.
and our narrator to search for her missing husband, Mr. Kuromizawa.
Mm-hmm.
And he vanished without a trace, supposedly while on his way to visit his mother.
Uh-huh.
And it was remind me, it was 23rd floor and 26th floor. So the difference between floors was 2 floors, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. 2 floors.
It was the same building, and I think it's something important that it was a rainy Sunday morning, and he
Yeah.
was last seen in the stairwell of their apartment building, walking between floors, and then nothing. He just disappeared.
And there's one thing I'd like to add, like our listeners will realize, like this rain has a deep meaning. It depicts something which has happened in the past. Now, this is something that you will learn when you read the novel, when you read the short story.
Yeah, and of course, this rainy Sunday. We have some great motives there. You can interpret them in so many ways. Like, of course, Sunday. Like, of course, rain. It's not only rain. It's even it was pouring, and it was the same with his father, right? Darkster, can you continue the plot about the narrator and his father?
I can, yes, of course. So, like, the rain, why we said it depicts a deep meaning. It's like because the man who is lost, his name is Kurmisawa, first of all. His father died 3 years ago in a train crash. Like, he was drunk and coming back from work. He wasn't usually that much drunk, oftenly on occasions, but he was drunk that day. It was night and it was raining. Right, Nessie?
Right. It
It
was
was
after
raining.
some busy lunch, I remember. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he got in front of a train and he couldn't pull himself outside and he got under it and there he
A
died.
tram, I guess, not train, tram it was, right?
Yeah, they use a word tram, but specifically tram
Uh-huh. Okay.
in Tokyo. You're correct. So let's continue with the plot further. What happened, right?
No?
So this like Nessie, this private investigator, our narrator follows the trail and interviews people. So when his wife told the narrator, I mean this investigator, that where he was vanished, so he went on the stairs and he kept looking, and he even ends up standing in front of those same 12th floor mirror as well. And yeah, that's what gets me. Despite all the efforts, he never finds the missing husband. There was no one there. I mean, the husband wasn't there.
Heads up, audio adventurers!
The beginning of this episode sounds a bit raw. That's because we recorded in what can only be described as an acoustic chaos. No studio, just vibes and maybe a cat knocking things over.
Halfway through, we MacGyvered our freaky little studio into existence, so hang in there. The sound gets more better, obstacles were thrown to us, we threw them back. So, the narrator, when the narrator is on the stairs, so he meets like 3 people basically. And the first one is the runner, and the second one is the old man, and the third one is the young girl. Right, Nessie?
The younger, yeah. So what about
So
the runner?
yeah, exactly, right? He was a man in his 30s and who likes to jog up on the stairs on weekends. Now, when I say on the stairs, like he was jogging around on 24 to 26 stairs, which is not likely for me to go, but yeah, it's intense. But of course, he's a runner, so yeah. And he recognizes Mr. Kumizawa as a fellow stair user. When you just go on stairs and you find people, so exchange greetings, right? So yeah, they exchange greetings, but aren't acquainted. So they were not too much acquainted there. You see, like a runner, he's just passing by, and you just greet someone. That's it, simple. So that was his take on Kuromisawa to the narrator. And I think you should go with the old man.
Yeah, so with runner it was just casual
Yeah,
greetings,
right.
as you said. And this old man, I think it's a little bit different, but I think he mentioned something more. But some details about him. This old man lives on the 26th floor with his son and daughter-in-law. And he uses the stairwell lodge to smoke. Do you know why?
Really? Tell me.
Because his family disapproves of smoking indoors. So, and you know what is so surprising? Because he said to the narrator that he smokes because it keeps him healthy. He's seen Mr. Kurumizawa sitting on the sofa, appearing living thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's something what is very interesting. Like he mentioned touch more than any other or than others. So
Yeah,
but
you're right.
yeah, we can say that there is I had even an idea like he may be a guide to the different world or something, but the great thing is like we can interpret it as we want. So because we don't have any solution for that and the ending is not so obvious. So
It's mysterious after all. It's
yeah.
Haruki Murakami.
So what about the young girl?
I completely agree with you on this old man for even on this wild assumption of maybe he can be a person who just guides people to different portal. Yes, maybe it can be possible.
And this little girl, I think she knows much more.
These people, believe me, they know so much. I believe so. This young girl, she may be 9 or 10 and lives just a floor up on 27th. Sometimes she takes the stairs, she just wants to kind of like ignore the elevator because it's kind of stinky. The elevator is like so not good for her, so she takes stairs sometimes. She once told the narrator that the mirror on the landing reflects differently. Not like the mirrors, it shows you
Wow.
something else. Yeah. So, out of both of them, the runner or the old man, she is the one who points this thing in the mirror, which is in front of the couch, of course, as you know.
Okay, so the interpretation could be like that. Yes, that the mirror, like it's a proof that mirror is like a kind of portal.
It's like not like other mirrors. It really shows you something else, something close to what you're really looking for. You see, but you can't name it. She also said it may be a door or an umbrella or a donut.
Yeah, it can be everything, not specific mirror, but the way, the path of the different word can be even an umbrella. Exactly.
And I believe she wasn't being silly. It felt in the moment like she was onto something else that the narrator felt. Yeah.
I can agree with you, of course. She has a different perspective, as you said, and about this mirror, of course. Like we can say that Murakami takes his mysterious event and even uses, like we said, as a portal, right? Much like the stories which are a mirror to explore deeper themes, and those deeper themes are, for example, grief, memory, disconnection, and perception, right? And there is a quiet sadness running beneath everything, I believe. For instance, we learned that husband's father died in a tram accident on a rainy Sunday. That's what we talked about.
3 years ago, yeah.
It was after. It was after heavy busy branch, and we mentioned that like this rainy Sundays feel symbolic, right?
Yeah,
To carry moments of loss and emotional fog. That's what we notice, and we can agree in the point. But Darkster, what really struck me it was the wife's emotional detachment. She tells the narrator that she would sometimes listen to her husband with a neutral expression, pretending to pay attention.
It's one of the lines that's in my mind from that story.
Do you want a quote? I've got it.
Yes, go on.
Got this quote. Give me a second. I open my book.
Okay.
I'm opening my book, and there we are, page 356. So I adapted a neutral expression that indicated that I was absorbing every word. Yeah, it's only one sentence, but this one sentence
So deep.
carries meaning. Wow, so much.
Right.
So, as I said, it is subtle but powerful. And that kind of emotional distance, kind of numbness, pretense, I guess, it says so much about regret, about some quiet breakdown. And there was something between them in their marriage, what was not exactly we can call pure love. Of course, you can. It's a kind of illusion, like you think they are a perfect couple. Because she's preparing in a Sunday morning, she's preparing for him
Pancakes. Because he loves pancakes so much, and when he was going downstairs, and he told his wife to prepare the pancakes, and he's coming up to have them, but he never came.
So
like
one particularly, but I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just because we talk about this mirror, and I think it's a very, very narrative motive here. So this fascinating detail about this mirror on the 12th floor, the floor right where the husband disappeared.
Yeah.
So I want to say it again. Like, this narrator notes that this mirror reflects differently than any other in the building. So it's not just a mirror, right? It's just a kind of boundary and some passage. And the way he get there, maybe through this mirror, that we can assume that, right?
Of course.
Maybe this old guy or little girl, they are guides, some guide. At least, in a conclusion about this wife, we can say, but why? Why he did it? He was a stockbroker. He has a luxury life in a great apartment. And he suddenly disappeared. There must be something more. What do you think, Darkster, about this mirror?
Look, first of all, about the wife, it's like from a distance, every beautiful looking thing is not beautiful, right? If you see a couple who is like married and you see it from distance, now when I say it's distance, like from as a third person, so you may think they're happy, but from deep down, maybe it's something else. Maybe they're just showing up to the world that they're married, and inside there is nothing. There is emptiness, right? It can be possible.
And it is exactly this about, like, some people just they can leave everything and disappear without any trace. Because people do that.
Yeah, they do. Perhaps he wasn't. It can be a portal, and another like assumption, like another speculation, can be like he wasn't happy with his marriage, so he left on his own abruptly in this weird scenario, which is so unlikely to digest, right?
Yeah.
So
that's what we don't know, and we can. We don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly. What we can do is just assume. Yeah.
And in Murakami's word, mirrors are rarely just a glass, right? That's what we can say for sure. So we know that they're okay about being happy. Yeah. So they often reveal some hidden part of self, or even lead to the entirely different realities. When people, people just they want to escape from from their lives. And it reminded me of Alice in Wonderland or even The Master and Margarita. So there are stories where characters slip into alternate dimensions through seemingly ordinary things.
Well,
right? And this idea of
I cannot disagree with you. I agree with you because you are the person who is one of the readers of Murakami, and the idea of portal of the mirror comes from that only because you know it. In his work, he has been addressing a mirror, any reflective thing, as a portal, just like in his other works, right? As you're mentioning now.
His works, but also other authors. And this idea of slipping away, like through mirrors, staircases, even rain, feels connected to some kind of larger obsession.
Oh, yeah.
With what's just beyond our reach. Yeah. There's also some different story. I couldn't help thinking about Kafka's The Metamorphosis. And maybe just very quickly.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe you don't remember. Yes, I want to remind you. Gregor Samsa wakes up one morning, transformed into a giant insect, but his first worry is still work and family. So if we think about Mr. Kuromisawa, we should consider that fact like work, right, and family, so the wife, and also his dad, right, his father.
Yeah.
That's why this connection is here. And of course, in Kafka's world, I mean Kafka because, Murakami's first book was about Kafka's Shore. That's why I think it's a good parallel. And even if Gregor Samsa, he eventually dies in isolation, but, parallels aren't direct. Yes, you can say that. But the emotional territory is similar. Quiet, internal, unrevealing, the way people disappear, not all at once, but slowly, emotionally, before they even physically gone.
Yeah. Wow. I would urge our listeners to go and read Haruki Murakami if you want to discover this mysterious world. It's really fascinating and it's like so much to absorb at one time. So out of context, for our listeners, Nessie, if you would suggest a book to the listeners, suppose they're starting to listen to Murakami, from which book do you want them to read to?
I think it was Men Without Women. It was the first book I read, and I found it so interesting. So much interesting. And
wow,
those stories, because they are short stories. If you want to start to read at whole, it's good to start from short stories because they are not so much time consuming. Right? You can read it anytime and you don't need so much time to read because it's short story, but then you want more and more and more.
Yeah, you just start building up your interest. You want to listen to more and read more and more. So coming back to the point, what really happened to Kuromisawa? Did he step into the underworld? Or was it a matter for some deeper sense? I don't know. So to me, the story isn't about disappearance in a literal sense, it's about emotional erosion. Like, people slip out of their own lives, just we discussed about. People slip out their own lives because they no longer seem or no longer seeing, and the ending underlines that you cannot search all you want, but some things, some people are just gone, are changed, or they never really begin to exist there, right?
Yes, exactly. I like this. I like what you said about this emotional erosion.
It's kind of tricky, right? As if even for people,
Exactly. You know what is great about this story and other stories is like Murakami, he doesn't offer neat solutions, right? Instead, he creates a mood, a world where a missing person investigation becomes a spiritual quest. And you know, as the narrator tries to find Mr. Kuromisawa, it's really a search for meaning, not for a person. Exactly, right? As we said, like let's repeat it. It's the rain, the luxury apartment, this marriage, maybe unhappy, maybe happy, we don't know. So there aren't just details.
Yeah.
I think they create the eerie, detached atmosphere Murakami is famous for, right?
Yeah,
He's famous for
exactly.
that.
For viewers, I'd like to add one thing in Rain. Like I'll tell you one scene which is we haven't spoken about it in our podcast. It's like when the narrator, when he went to his mother, the guy who's lost, Kuromisawa's mother. So on that day, it was raining when he was vanished, right?
Hmm?
And his mother used to get fits, like, she used to feel so bad when it's raining because it's connected double. It's connected double.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
and
like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
because I have a quote for you again.
Go ahead.
I have a quote from page 370.
Mm-hmm.
And it is where the narrator reflects on the human thought process. So how it drifts, how we hold onto fragments. And I think there's quite a lot to chew on here. Let's check. So the quote is, I think it has an existential sense so much. Water always picks the shortest route to flow down. Sometimes, though, the shortest route is actually formed by the water. The human thought process is a lot like that. Because if you think about Mr. Kuromisawa and his maybe decision, so what was he thinking about?
Yeah. It's really fascinating for me, you as well, I know. Like as a narrator, as an author, when you write a book, like you have to be so creative inside. It's so mysterious, right? This story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it leaves the readers to just chewing their fingers, like, okay, what happened? What happened?
Yeah. So Darkster, in a conclusion, I would love to say that where I'm likely to find it is a top-notch example of Murakami's craft. And it's haunting, it's deeply reflective, and whether you read it as a ritual mystery or just metaphor or emotional disconnection and loss, it stays with you. It stays with you like with us. Like a dream you almost remember. There's a lot of question about it, right, Darkstar? A lot of questions.
Yes, a lot of questions, but yeah, I have.
Can I ask you? Okay, can I ask you? I think I can. So, Darkster, do we ever really know the people closest to us, or do we just project our version of them?
Wow, that's quite an interesting question, isn't it? Well, I think we know a part of them, right? Part they chose to show us, and the part we're ready to see. Like when you meet a person, you just scratch the tip of the iceberg, right? You just gets to know the person little by little, not entirely, right? But there's always some projection. We build a vision of that person that fits our world. because like our brain works in like, we want everything as we want, and sometimes that version feels real to us than who they truly are.
Yeah. So we don't really know how it is,
No.
because people are able to change. We are changing. We are in this process all the time. So what was good for us at the beginning cannot be good for us later, because we are different people every day. Every day we are different.
When you say different, it's like for people who may not understand, it means like different in a good way, not like in a bad way. It's like always progressing towards something good, right?
But in something bad as well, in something
I
negative.
agree. It can, yeah. Good side and bad sides, always we have them. Yeah.
Course. So if okay, let's assume like if another reality exists just a step away, like through a mirror or a stairwell, would you go, Darkster?
I'll be a little scared, but yes, I would want to. Curiosity is a part of being human, right? I would.
You are brave. You know why? Because we are, as a people, as a human beings, we are so afraid of things we don't know.
Yeah.
We are, of course, we are amazed by some kind of mystery, but we don't like new things sometimes, right? New events in our life, new people, because it appears as a something what we must know. So there is some effort to do. So we need to put some effort to discover that word of different person or different word. So kind of
exactly. Yeah. So it's like when we see something different, it's hard for us to digest it, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
So you would vaporize.
I mean,
so easily.
Think about it. Like you live a life normally, and you get to see a portal, or is like another reality exist a step away from you. So, wouldn't you like to have some adventure in your life? I mean, curiosity. It's a part of being human, but that depends. Sometimes life we need are in our presence more than our wonder, right? But yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's so interesting, motive, like, some tunnel of time you can go through and you can discover maybe something and maybe yourself.
And yeah, I'm also so attracted towards these kind of movies like time traveling or space or something. These kind of movies piques my interests. So you can guess my answer from this statement.
Yeah, of course, I can get it easily. Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. If so
Go ahead.
yeah, I think it like okay, just one question for you. What does paying attention to a loved one looks like in a daily life? Because this question comes from the wife.
Yeah, you know that I really paid attention on that character.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I asked.
Paying attention to a loved, one look like in daily life. So, I believe that if we are with someone in a relationship, no matter what kind of relationship it is, we cannot have a good conversation. That's the problem. And this problem is because maybe I don't want to blame, techniques and cell phones, but I think we cannot be, open-minded on our interlocutor. I don't know what happened to us. Like, sometimes it's better even to spend 1 hour with the person, but effectively. So what I mean is to be with that person and for real, to listen to the person, to listen their needs, their desires, sometimes their sadness, and sometimes you can spend the whole day or the whole month with the person and you are so far away for that. Yeah.
A whole life, perhaps, Nessie?
Or the whole life, and you feel that is something empty inside you because this person you live with is really far away from you.
And whereas, like, you could just meet a person, and within a few days or even a day, you could feel that you are close to this person more than anyone in your whole life.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about to have a time to manage time, even if you have a busy schedule. Just to prepare that moments, create those moments, create time for that person. That's what I believe. And maybe there was a lack of this. Maybe there was in Mr. Kuromizawa's life, there was lack of these things.
Lack of communication, perhaps lack of time, lack of connectivity, lack of emotions.
Yeah, feelings even. Okay, they were well-to-do people. Of course, they lived in a luxury, but yeah, so what?
So what?
Money are not everything.
Money is money.
So what?
Here is a debatable thing. Can money buy you happiness?
Oh, wow, what a question.
Yeah.
Let's go with that question to our listeners.
Yeah, what do you think, guys? Like, can money buy you happiness?
Oh, man.
We'd like to know your comments, right, Nessie?
Of course. And of course, we are almost at the end, right?
Exactly. We're almost at the end of it, and we haven't covered the whole story. We have left it for our listeners to unveil it by themselves, to maintain the mystery of the story.
Mm-hmm. And about this story, so maybe the bigger mystery isn't where he went. I mean, Mr. Kuromizawa, where he went, but why we are still searching for him, and what that says about us.
Gosh,
Yeah.
so deep, isn't it? Gets deeper and deeper. So deep.
Oh yeah. We would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
think the mirror means, and what do you believe happened in the apartment stairwell? Right?
Yeah, exactly. We would love to, because as you know, like, everyone has a different assumption, different guess. So in the end, was the man truly lost, or did he just slip into another world of a Murakami never? What do you think?
Yeah. And of course, until next time, keep looking in unexpected places. Who knows what you will find?